Less than 24 hours now remaining for the declaration of the results of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. The Election Commission of India has held a press conference wherein they've enlisted their achievements for the elections. To name a few, around 642 million registered voters voted in the election season, out of which around 312 million were women. This was in fact the first time that the poll body held a post-election pre-result briefing. Now, before we discuss the achievements that the conduct of these elections have been, let's first listen into what the CEC mentioned today in his media briefing.
We have created a world record of 642 million proud Indian voters. This is a historic moment for all of us.
There are 312 million proud women voters. This is also the highest ever in the world. It is larger than the 2019 elections.
4,391 amounts of drugs which has been kind of seized. Friends, this is one of the general elections where we haven't seen violence. आप सब pictures देख चुके हैं. 58.58% overall turnout and in Valley 51.5. There were only 39 repolls, and of these 39 also 25 are only in Arunachal and Manipur because of the far-flung distances.
Joining us at this point is Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian. We also have Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, live with us. Rahul Ishwar, political analyst, is joining us live. Saida Sadabas, political analyst, is also with us on the broadcast. Joyita Basu, amidst much clamour from the opposition, the CEC holding a press conference today, the Election Commission enlisting the various achievements by it through the conduct of these polls. What do you make of the main takeaways from their press briefing today? And as far as the entire election exercise now is concerned, looking back, how successful has it been, and how, what bigger role has the EC played in the conduct of free and fair polling?
The thing is, they're talking about almost 650 million people. I mean, and it is a combined, when it comes to voting, it is a combined. G7 countries also do not have that many people voting. For one body to ensure the smooth conduct of polls like that, of course, it has taken a lot of time, over 7 phases. And yes, I think the timing also is a little off because there was, the summer heat, the heat wave and all. But in spite of that, what we have witnessed, it's absolutely remarkable and something Indians should be proud of, because I do not think any other country has ever carried out a massive exercise like that. And look at the kind of nonsense that goes on, particularly in the US. I mean, their electoral process, it does not come across like the way it is so ham-handed, the way it is so badly managed, the way these protests have been taking place, the US election is also, it's a mess. So if you are looking at the democratic world, I think Indian election is right on top. Okay, right on top in terms of the number of people they are handling, the number of areas they have reached out to. I mean, there are places where there is only one voter. The EC has sent its people over there. I think it's stupendous, absolutely. It's amazing. Just imagine 312 million women have voted. You see, has something like this ever happened in any corner of the world? No. I think it's absolutely remarkable.
Okay, let me take that across to Gautam Mukherjee. Gautam Mukherjee, there have been record seizures as well in this election, trying to ensure that voters are not lured. Overall, how would you rank the EC's performance through the conduct of the 7-phase elections?
It's stupendous. It is something unparalleled, as Joyita was saying just now. Nobody, there is something that is uniquely Indian about this talent to manage huge masses of people and also huge masses of territory of all kinds, from difficult mountain hamlets to crowded cities to jungles. Most others cannot cope with this kind of diversity or the requirements that come up. Then you've got the fact that we have been electronically voting for, I think, over 20 years. And there was mention of America. They're still using ballots, and they are very slow. When we count this, we're going to be done in a few hours maximum. The last vote will be counted by the end of the working day, 4, 5 o'clock. This is considering that there, as the EC pointed out, the CEC pointed out, 650 odd million votes to be counted. Nobody can do this. Even if they try, they'd better go to school with the Indian Election Commission.
Yeah, let me take that across to Rahul Ishwar as well. Rahul Ishwar, this press conference, of course, pretty rare before the results, held by the CC today afternoon. What do you make of, the main takeaways of what he's said? And interesting that this comes amidst the clamor of the opposition, seeking clarity from the EC, raising concerns, questioning their capabilities as well, not just now, but through the electoral process.
First of all, I think we all should give a great round of applause to the Election Commission. 1 or 2 points we may agree or disagree, but largely they have conducted. We should understand that this is the largest election in the human history and the most number of people have voted. So we as a nation, a democratic nation, should be able to celebrate and applaud ourselves and pat on back. And unlike US, where people like Trump can have election denialism, irrespective of whosoever wins tomorrow, I am absolutely sure they will concede and say all the best for the next 5 years. This has been India's legacy, and that should be there. We should compare ourselves with either US or the other extreme, our neighboring nations like Pakistan, where they have been under military rule for a long period of time, where democracy was not there. Look at Burma, look at so many other places. So by and large, election is thriving in India, and we should remember great people like Sri T.N. Sheshan and all, who could have an iron hand in ruling, and even politicians were afraid. We had a fan club for Election Commission. So Election Commission by and large has been very good. There may be 1 or 2 discrepancies regarding one extreme speech one person made, or regarding another extreme speech somebody else made regarding the caste angle, community angle. We can definitely debate, but largely it has been very great. Second point, I think Jairam Ramesh is a very senior politician or senior leader in Congress. He has raised some very, very scary objections. I believe Election Commission was asking him to respond by 7 o'clock today itself. If he has any evidence, he should give that. Otherwise, these kind of allegations really demean the process. I don't know whether Amit Shah ji called or not, but calling 150 district magistrates, saying this and this, and that too coming from an intellectual like Jairam Ramesh ji, if you are not having evidence, I believe these kind of allegations, hame shobha nahi deta. So, irrespective of whosoever, because for example, Kerala, nearly everyone knows that Congress and UDF is going to sweep Kerala in a big way. Or Gujarat, we all know that BJP is going to sweep in a big way. So, electronic voting machine is not the person to be blamed, or not the thing to be blamed. So by and large, it has been great. India should be applauding ourselves. There should be cross-checks. And one last point, I believe every opposition party will be having and should be having an adversarial role with all the other establishment, because it is natural for them to suspect. I still remember the senior BJP leader GVL Narasimha Rao ji wrote a book and article regarding suspicions on EVM, and none less than LK Advani ji also raised a part of those kind of allegations. So these things will keep on happening. But by and large, I think as an ordinary citizen, it is a great achievement, a stupendous achievement, as the earlier speakers like Gautam ji said, and it is something that we should be able to hold our head held high.
Okay, let me take that across to Syed Abbas. Syed Abbas, come in here on, on the politics of it all, because the opposition, of course, has been up in arms over the EC's conduct. But the Chief Election Commissioner, of course, today is saying it's very unfortunate to raise fingers at the EC, and they've actually counted out the achievements today. What all India has achieved and how this has actually been a model exercise, not just for our part of the world, but for the entire world as a whole, being the largest democratic exercise of its kind. Abbas, Mr. Abbas, your reaction to what the EC said, the CEC said rather, and also the politics of it all. Has it silenced the critics or not really?
Firstly, I think there's this beautiful quote which summarizes it. When you do the most common things in life, in the most uncommon way, you command the attention of the world. The fact that India, the world's largest, biggest democracy, bringing together 642 million voters, This is absolutely spectacular, I'd say. All the G7 countries put together do not have this kind of number of voters which India has. Also, we need to say 10,000 crore was seized. Not just that, length and breadth of our beautiful country. This is an absolutely applaudable achievement of the Election Commission of India. There are no two ways about it. I think Mr. Rajiv Kumar, the Chief Election Commissioner, and his team have done a fantastic job of it, because pulling off an election of this mammoth size is absolutely no joke. Not just that, even Jammu and Kashmir recorded one of the highest ever historic percentage of voters. That shows that they've been raring to vote from a long time. That is, again, a positive point to look at. Now, coming straight to the point, back then, many more repolls were held. I think about 540 repolls during 2019. And this time it was roughly just about close to 35 to 40. So that is a very significant change. And the majority was only in 2 states. I think Rahul raised a very good point with respect to Jairam Ramesh. The fact is, he needs to understand that when Mr. Jairam Ramesh makes such a statement, he needs to back it up with substantial proof and evidence. Without substantial proof and evidence, this will only turn out to be a joke when people read your tweet or hear your statement in the media. So therefore, if Jairam Ramesh is backed by sufficient evidence, he should bring it to the forthright public discourse. Also, we need to understand, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, our late Honorable Prime Minister, said something very beautiful. Matbhed hona chahiye, manbhed nahi. We could have differences in politics, but of course, differences of ideologies, but not differences of the mind, differences of the heart. That is very important. And to me, as an Indian today, I largely take great sense of pride that we are able to answer to even the likes of United States that calls itself a superpower, but they are way behind. As a matter of fact, Uday Saab, let me tell you, I've been an MLA candidate here in the state of Karnataka in the 2018 elections, and I can tell you, it is very, very, very difficult to do any kind of tampering with the electronic voter machines. Because once you're an election candidate, you and your agent go through several briefings with the election commission, with your returning officer and the assistant returning officer. So to do any kind of tampering on such a large scale is, I would say, next to impossible. As a matter of fact, but to be fair, like Rahul Ishwarji mentioned, it is not just the Congress party or the opposition parties who've raised their concerns. I have read snippets of books of Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, who's a national spokesperson and a member of parliament. He has mentioned many a times that where EVM is flawed and so on and so forth, which I do not concur with. And also, like he said, Lal Krishna Advani ji, back in the days, he also mentioned that he's got problems with it. I think largely politicians must let go that EVM can be tampered or anything to do with it. Gloriously celebrate the mandate of the public. I'm sure every political party has worked hard. This happened during summer, heat stroke, all that, so on and so forth. Many of the polling officers also had to go through it. But let me tell you, at the end of it, like they say, this fruit will be the sweetest. Irrespective of the results, we need to celebrate the public mandate which declares the winner. And of course, accept the verdict with all heart. Of course, take it with a pinch of salt. And like they say, in the world of politics, winning, losing is all a part of the game. But of course, it's always sweeter when you're winning the front. So nevertheless, here's wishing all the respective political leaders of the NDA and the India Alliance the best to come, and may the best political party with the best interest of India win. And that is the way to go.
How do you look toward the controversies as well, Joyita? Concerns over EVM, this demand for VVPAT slips tallying along with EVM, along with the EVM counting. The demand, of course, the question marks over why voter turnout data was not released immediately. These controversies that have also, gripped the EC through this election that have been raised by the opposition. Do you believe there was any credence, or was it simply, a ploy by the opposition to try and mislead voters?
Well, it was simply politics. It was simply an attempt to create what we can call, a mahal. And in fact, there is a lot of speculation going on right now when we are in the studio and speaking about, whether if the results go against the opposition bloc, whether they will be, ensuring and instigating street protests and going to the Supreme Court. There's so many things that could happen, because and that is the reason why it is believed that they were raising these objections time and time again. When they failed, when you're talking about EVM tampering, as it's frankly, that particular narrative has reached the level of the grassroots, that when you are winning, the EVM is not tampered. When the BJP is winning, the EVM is tampered. That is a prevalent talk that is going on at the grassroots. And now what they're talking about is, now when, as Abbas said before me, and it was very generous of him, I think, when he said that, EVMs cannot be tampered with. But when he said that, and after that, so as a result of which, when that EVM argument has fallen flat, what the opposition has been trying to do is that the EC is rigging the elections on behalf of the Bharatiya Janata Party, of the ruling party. Let's not forget that EC is a constitutional authority. When you are hurling such irresponsible charges at a body like that, you are taking away from its credibility. You are trying to take away from its credibility. You are questioning India's democracy. You are questioning India's people's, understanding of what politics is. And basically, you are doing a great disservice to the whole democratic process by which we bring in a government. So the whole point is, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot have it. If we do not win, then the election is bad. Everybody who has been part of the election process, everybody is compromised. You will be saying that instead, perhaps you would have had better sense to build up a ground presence in the last 5 years, have some cadre, take your message across, not talk irresponsibly, make irresponsible promises. Instead of making it about the EC rigging the polls, which the opposition is doing, perhaps the opposition needs to look inward.
Yes. Okay, let me take that across to Abbas. Syed Abbas, you believe the opposition needs to look inwards. Was it a ploy, or was there credence to their charges or not? Respond to Joyita Basu.
Well, that's a very, very interesting point that Joyita ji has made. Certainly, I agree with that. Also, Uday Pratap Singh Saab, we need to understand one front. The Congress party, in the last Karnataka elections where I come from, that was a mandate from the people of Karnataka to the Congress party. They gave them a huge majority, 135 seats on 224. What happened to the EVMs then? Why didn't they blame? If EVM was honestly in the hands of BJP, wouldn't they rig it in advantage to them? Wouldn't it be BJP again back with Basuraj Bommai or Yediyurappa as the chief minister here in Karnataka? Not just that, even if you look at the state of Telangana also, the mandate was in the hands of Revanth Reddy of the Congress and not DRS party. They could have swung which way they want. We need to understand there are states. Himachal Pradesh was won by Congress. There are many states which are won. Aam Aadmi Party has won in Delhi. Aam Aadmi Party won in Punjab. So if Bharatiya Janata Party really wanted to do that, they would have done in places where it's quite tight contest like the Himachal. We need to understand that I don't think it really works. And why I say that is because my own experience with the EVM being an election candidate. Not just that, let me tell you, many of the polling agents, many of the booth management committees are all in front of the strong room. Whenever there's any election, there are your polling agents, your booth committee people, they are in the strong rooms, right outside. So any kind of wrong activity, they can definitely report it. So far, none of them have been reported yet. So therefore, I would certainly advise and say to all the people, all the political parties or the leaders, that it's not okay to blame the EVMs alone for this. The right way to go ahead is to accept the mandate. We don't know yet. Tomorrow, of course, we've seen the exit polls. Exit polls are not exact polls. Nevertheless, 4th June, that is, I think, less than 12 hours from now, I think we start, the counting begins. So therefore, wait for the people's mandate, and the people's mandate will be in the best interest of our beautiful country. So therefore, mere blame game is not going to help. if there are any discrepancies, the best way to go ahead to all these respective political leaders of the alliances is use your evidence or bring in substantial proof. That is the only way to go.
Yes,
and
Rahul
if you
Ishwar.
don't, then it's no good.
Rahul.
Just one submission. Just one submission. The reason being why I said is, see, if EVMs can be manipulated and if it can be taken one side, just imagine BJP lost to Aam Aadmi Party 67-3,
Yes.
way back 2 elections back. So easily Modi ji could have regretted. Why will Modi ji, I mean, I'm not saying Modi ji will even think of it, but I'm simply saying if Modi ji and the grand conspiracy of the whole entire BJP system can rig things, anyway, 67-3 is too much of a wide verdict. They would have at least balanced it to say somewhere around 40 or 20. So that's not how things happen. So it pains me as an ordinary Indian. See, I'm going to vote, I'm taking the day off rather than spending with family, standing in a long queue. And when you are going it, I hope they will respect that particular sentiments and not give such wild allegations. The election integrity is something absolutely important, and I believe, I'm a pro-Republican person coming to U.S. elections, but at the same point of time, I'm strongly anti-Trump. People like Trump raises and demeans American election system. That should not be our standard. That should not be how we should be taking it. See, elections are sacrosanct, and when you are raising any doubts regarding elections, it demeans the entire process. It demeans the 60+ crore people who have gone there and voted. Otherwise, Modi ji can sit on his personal room and rig the entire thing, then the entire thing is meaningless. So I hope that kind of allegation wouldn't be there. At the same point of time, all the necessary guard and other things should be there. And it is unfortunate that the center-left spectrum copies from Donald Trump's playbook and raises it. So I hope such allegations won't be there. I don't know who will win tomorrow, but whosoever wins, such allegations won't be there.
Okay, let me take that across to Gautam Mukherjee as well. Gautam, do you believe that these allegations were unfortunate? Do you believe there was any credence to them? Because we didn't see it just once, we saw it multiple times from multiple opposition parties through the course of this election.
Well, the unfortunate part is they got together knowing full well that they were going to take a huge drubbing tomorrow when the counting comes, and they're looking for fig leaves. This is a formula. Just as there are all sorts of allegations thrust during the election campaigns by both sides, but with a desperate attempt to polarize the voter, which according to the exit polls they have succeeded in, and to try and bring back a hardline socialism, which will not happen if the BJP wins. You've got the next stage after blaming the EC and the EVMs is to say that this whole thing is not ever conducted properly. The Indian election machine and institutions are broken. They will try and amplify this internationally and get some support from their pals abroad, especially the leftists and the people who are inimical to India, like China and Pakistan. You can expect op-eds from these kind of people saying that Modi has more or less fixed it in his favor, and he's the strong man, the Hindutva boss, etc., etc. Now, by this, what I assess is our opposition in India is not an Indian opposition at all. It is a front for all the people within the country and outside the country that want to bring India down. It is very unfortunate that the opposition does not take a stance that has anything to do with the politics of India. Instead, it's all about how can we get into power by hook or by crook? And if we can't do that, how can we break this government? What is going to happen post-election? Are we going to expect riots, protests on flimsy grounds, arson, loot, chaos as much as possible? Well, if it's West Bengal, it's almost guaranteed, because they're going to lose more seats.
Well, additional deployment has already been done there. In fact, thousands of CRPF and other forces have been sent there as we speak today.
Yeah, no, and it's going to get worse once the hard facts are there. What's happening in West Bengal is that apart from opening the door to a lot of infiltrators who have been given election cards and the like, you've got a situation where violence is a way of life. And, now when they are losing vote share, now this is deadly. I know this is only the Lok Sabha elections and West Bengal is a very inward-looking place. But what will they do for the assembly elections? Because for the first time, if BJP is getting a bigger vote share than the TMC, this could be the beginning of the end for them. And they can't stand that. So they're going to set the place on fire. They did that last time over the assembly elections. They do it after every election. There's a sort of a retaliation and so on. But that is not the only place. Another place where people are losing ground is Punjab. Punjab, which has always decided that it's a law unto itself of late, has, according to the exit polls, has lost some seats between the AAP to the Congress, and lo and behold, some seats to the BJP. That hasn't happened in a long time. Similarly, down south. But in the south, they are more organized and disciplined. And I do not expect violence in Tamil Nadu. There will be some violence in Kerala because it's run by communists. And communists and violence are married to each other. It is one of those things, it's not whether they have encouraged the Islamists and so on. That is part of it. But really, violence is the way communists stay in power.
No, sir. What do you mean Islamist? I don't think that's the right term that you've used. All right.
Well, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Nor am I arguing with you.
What do you mean?
And
would it be right to
not
take
going to answer your questions. I'm going to say what I have.
Kindly mind your words. And
No, I don't
carefully.
have to mind my words.
You
There are
have
Islamists
to
there.
measure words.
There are Islamists there, and they're of the very dangerous kind.
What do you mean Islamist? Uday, how can you allow such hateful speech on your show, Uday? What does this man mean Islamist?
What is hateful about the truth?
What do you mean Islamist?
Islamists.
Use it in the right context.
Islamists, spell the
Give
word,
the right
understand
context.
it.
Mr. Mukherjee, learn to use it in the right context.
I am.
No, you're not.
Well, that's your opinion, not mine.
Not my opinion, sir. Kindly put it in the right context. Who you mean, what you mean. Is
I
absolutely
know what
unfair
I mean,
for you
but
to go on
you
that
are-
way. Uday
Anyway,
Pratap
what
Singh,
can I
can you
do
please
about
intervene and tell this man not to use it in that manner?
Okay. You've had your counter. You've countered him. You disagreed with him. You've had your say. I'm afraid we've run completely out of time.
Just one submission.
Yes, Rahul, 10 seconds. I need to end.
Just one submission. There was a Lok Sabha MP called, who spoke in, Muslim MP from Kerala who spoke in Indian Lok Sabha said, if Holy Mecca and Saudi Arabia decides to attack India, we will be sending our children to defend India. And this is recorded in Lok Sabha's history. So, I guess we should be more sensitive and respectful.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.